Hi, ladies, and welcome back. This is our next session with Dr. San Ludhra, and I'm really excited to welcome San to the session and really talk about how to scale and grow your business and make it profitable. San, really welcome to the summit.
Thank you. Thank you. It's my absolute honor and privilege to be here. Thank you for having me.
Ladies, don't forget to use the chat box feature, ask questions. We'll make it interactive as usual. Hopefully the tech will hold out. If you're watching on replay, just make sure you also comment and leave your feedback. So I'm super excited. San is joining us from the UK, and San is award-winning impact business mentor and global leadership consultant. She's also the CEO and the founder of the Global Business Clinic. San's mission is to create impact by helping entrepreneurs to learn new skills and grow and scale businesses and make profit. So welcome, San. Give us a brief introduction of yourself and your background as well. I'd love to hear that.
Okay, so I started off initially as a medical doctor. I went to King's College, University of London and graduated there. Thereafter, I pursued my career in medicine and did that for a number of years, escalated and progressed through the hoops very quickly within the medical space. But I came to a point very quickly where I realized that something wasn't in alignment with my values. I went into medicine purely to help individuals and to make a difference. But the way the NHS was at the time, about 10, 12 years ago, I was left in a position where I was not living in alignment with my values, particularly where my profession was concerned. So I decided to resign from a fabulous career ahead of me and a wonderful post that I was already at to start my own business. I knew at that point when I resigned that there was something I can do that would be bigger, better, shinier and add more value to the clients that I wanted to add value to. I wanted to create a clinical medical space with luxurious surroundings, with excellence in care, with the highest level of technology, where clients and patients arrived, felt looked after, and rejuvenated after their treatments. And so I went on to create this wonderful clinic, but I did that for 2 years, and I think it's my ADD perhaps. I got a little bit sort of, I wouldn't say complacent per se, but I wanted to grow the business further. I have always had this passion to grow things and scale things even as a child. So I opened my second clinic in London as well.
Wow.
So yeah, so the gap between the first and the second clinic was about 2 years.
So San, did you actually have business experience, or was it a big leap of faith from medical background to business?
It was a complete leap of faith. When I took the leap at that point, I didn't have any formal business qualifications at all. I just had the passion. I knew I had the vision. I had this vision and a burning desire to do something bigger and better and add more value. So, I made that decision with that in mind, but certainly with no business skills at that point.
Yeah. Was it a scary leap for you?
It was incredibly scary, very, very scary. It's probably one of the most scariest things I've done, to be honest. It was more scary, I think, perhaps because coming from a culture where education is fundamentally important. I grew up in an environment where it was considered the way forward, that it was the norm to get a degree, find a vocation or a profession, a legal profession or a medical profession, and you stick with that profession because it's safe, it's secure, and it gives you the fantastic pension. So, that was the expectation growing up, and even post-graduation. I actually envisioned myself doing that for the rest of my life.
Wow.
So to then make a massive shift was it was very, very scary indeed.
Wow. What made you just decide today is the day, I'm going to hand in my notice and start my own business? What was sort of the turning point for you that made you make that step?
The turning point for me at that particular moment in time was it was a choice of making that choice. Do I stay and be completely miserable under pressure and not living in my purpose and not being in alignment with my values, completely disgruntled and dissatisfied in the profession that I was in at the time? So, or risk the jeopardy of complete unknown and something that was not culturally, societally the way things were. It just wasn't the norm at the time. So yeah, no, that was my pivotal point where my fundamental values were jeopardized. I had to take the leap.
Yeah, I can't imagine how your family must have reacted to your to your big decision.
Yeah.
So you had to just literally burn the bridges and start afresh.
Absolutely, Raymonda. As our good friend Tony Robbins says, you know, if you're going to do it, you do it properly, you burn the bridges. And I think that's exactly what I did. But looking back now in retrospect, I think it's not everybody can do that. I was in a place where I knew that I was in a place where I could take that time, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, as leverage to find my feet, to decide and discover what I was going to do. Other people who have got other restrictions and constraints may not be able to do that. So, albeit I did that and it worked out for me, and I do suggest that it's the way forward for most. However, I'm very aware that it's not the right thing for everybody.
Yeah. So when you made that switch, did you have a clear strategy in mind? Did you sit down and plan it out, or did you sort of take it and learn it as you went along?
I think initially I had the vision. I knew exactly what I wanted to achieve. I knew what I wanted the business to look like. I knew exactly how I wanted to feel in that business. So that I had the skeletal structure in place, but the business intricacies, the systems and the processes that are essential, I had zero clue at that point. So it literally was diving in and learning as I went along.
Yeah. And then you learned a whole lot in the process.
I learned a hell of a lot, and it's been a steep learning curve, and it continues to be so.
Yeah.
But you know what? I can't complain, because I think the learning curve is essential for all of us. You know, it's the challenges that we go through and come out the other end that really shape the future of our businesses, and therefore the impact.
So now you are award-winning leadership coach. That's amazing.
Thank you.
How did that happen?
I was mentoring a lot of doctors whilst I was also in the NHS, and leadership naturally, it wasn't actually termed leadership back then, but I've always gravitated towards a more leadership role, more of I've always felt that it was my calling per se to lead and to motivate and inspire other women, particularly in various industries, to excel and to really overcome mindset challenges and for career progression and business progression. And in doing so, I've had the honor of working with senior executives of various industries to really shape and mold policies and procedures that affect women on the shop front today. So,
do you see a lot of change from how business was 10 years ago and to where it is now, and in terms of women having more powerful positions, more prominent roles in business, and actually more women running businesses? Do you feel that has been a big change since?
Absolutely. I think that's a fantastic question. I do think there has been a massive shift for the best. I see a lot of women in more prominent positions in all industries: biotechnology, medical, pharmaceutical, and various other industries, including the media. However, having said that, I still feel that we've got a long, long way to go.
I don't know if you watched the 100 Women debate, and there was a really, really strong comment made by the Economic World Forum, saying that we are actually probably 200 years away from true equality for women, and that there is still so much work to be done to have those equal positions for women, whether in leadership roles and the boards and stuff like that. So do you think we are 200 years away from true equality, or can we do something to bring that time back?
I would definitely say that we're certainly some light years away. To put a number on the number of years exactly is a bit, I would say, definitely tricky. However, I think that what I would really question, and I know this might sound a little bit provocative perhaps, is that although the buzzword is equality per se, equality is not necessarily what we should be looking at as women. What we need to be looking at is equity. You see, there's a big difference. Looking at equality, we're not all equal purely because that's not the genotype. We're not all created that way. Yes, it's a nice philosophy. However, we have different aptitudes, different skills. It's really important to harness and cultivate and then promote our differences as well in relation to the role that we're looking to go into. So, for example, you want to climb, the role involves climbing a tree, and you've got an elephant, you've got a giraffe, and you've got a monkey. They are all going to want to climb the tree differently. A monkey is genetically capable and able and has the skills to do that a lot quickly, whereas an elephant might embark about crushing the tree or going about it a different way. It's important, therefore, to really harness and to promote our differences as well. And a lot of women, I find, we're on this bandwagon for equality, which is fine generically, but fundamentally, to make a more of a difference, we need to look at the differences as well, what we are, our talents, our strengths, and harness those and promote those. I don't know if that.
Yeah, I was just keen to hear your view on it, and obviously you have been in women empowerment and advised many senior roles. So for me, it was just really interesting to hear your view on that, and just what can we do to be encouraging more women in leadership roles. I think that's key, really.
I think there's a lot. We are a long way away from where we need to be. However, a lot of industries. Sorry, I think it's that you.
Yeah, I have a delivery.
What's happening now is, what's really, with the Me Too movement and the Time's Up movement, these movements have really helped with, okay.
Sorry, apologies about that.
Not at all. So going back to, the Me Too movement and the Time's Up movement, I think these have really now given women more permission, and they are feeling more empowered enough to speak up about the discrimination that they may have experienced historically and are currently experiencing at the moment, particularly more so for the next generation, which is really, really important. The teenagers coming into the workforce now and the recent graduates, it's giving them that permission. I think we are more open to embracing the whole phenomenon than we was 10 years ago, which in the grand scheme of things was not that long ago.
Yeah, exactly. I think it really isn't so long ago that we, myself included, I've started my business in 2011, and in a business environment, I used to see not as many women. I used to be in a minority of probably 20 or 15% of women in business events and sort of gatherings. So I am seeing a huge change in terms of more women taking up business. And I think today, how can we also scale the businesses and grow the businesses to a point that it's not just a lifestyle business, but it's also making a difference and making an impact. So I think I'd love to discuss that more, how women can grow our businesses to something that's quite substantial and not just a lifestyle business as well. So
I think, initially for women, a lot of the women going into the business space wanting to create a lifestyle business are not, let me rephrase that. I think it comes down to making a decision. So if you're wanting to grow your business and scale your business, the most important thing you have to do is make a decision. You make that decision that you are going to do that. Once you have decided to do that, and you've got to take the lifestyle, quote unquote, lifestyle business out of the equation completely. Because when you're growing and scaling a business in true reality, your lifestyle is not going to be exactly perhaps how you may want it to look once you sort of get to where you need to get to. And these are my views, and this is my experience. And having worked with hundreds of women who've grown their business and helped and facilitated them along the process, this is the case. It's not a walk in the park or a bunch of roses. There are going to be lots of challenges along the way. Make a decision, a conscious decision that you're going to create something big. Once you've made that decision, put certain procedures and principles in place. Structures and systems are really important. A lot of women overlook that. Profitability in business equally is very important. Profitability in certain spaces and places in the lifestyle business space is not, it's the so-called dirty word. You don't talk about profitability because women are so accustomed to giving all the time. So many women have issues around asking for what they are worth. If we take our worth out of the equation and look at the product that we've got, look at the service that you're offering, look at the transformation that your service or product is creating. What is the value of that? Look at the market value of your product. Look at the market value. Do your research. What are your competitors charging? Again, a lot of women going into business brainwashed into thinking competition is not a good thing. Competition is there. It's there in business. It's not a negative thing. It's there. It's a healthy thing to have in business. So it's important to look at your competitors, look at price comparison, and then price your products and services according to that. It's really important.
Yeah, I think naturally we wire that way, that we want to serve and provide and nurture, but on the other side we need to step back and see, is what we're doing make sense? And sometimes in some of my business, the business didn't make sense unless I scaled it. That's when I started to realize that profitability and scale is essential part of running a sustainable business, because if you're running something small scale, it's purely unsustainable. And you just cannot make a good living, or the life of the business will not survive and you will never reach the goal. So in some cases, the only option to grow a sustainable business is to scale it.
Absolutely, I totally agree. But again, it's making a decision. It's okay to, have a small lifestyle business, but once you've decided to grow your business and you've got your business to a certain level, it's not too different or difficult to scale it further. If you've got the right guidance from somebody who's walked the walk before you, it's not difficult at all. It's having a navigation tool, like a GPS system to guide you to avoid the landfill sites, because there are lots of things that will trip you up very quickly, and the damages at 7 figures is quite a lot more than the damages at say, if your business is turning over £50,000, for example.
Yeah. What are some of the tips in terms of scaling and growing? Something that you've learned along the way?
I'd say definitely look at your data. Definitely, you need to know about your sales funnels. You need to know where you're getting your leads from, the customer journey. You need to know how long your customers are staying with you, how much they are spending with you, repeat client purchase. You need to know the facts. Data is really, really important, because if you can't measure it, you can't change it.
Yeah.
A lot of women in business, particularly those starting out, it's okay, it's quite normal for them to overlook this really important aspect, and to have have some systems in place, have some accountancy programs in place, seek some guidance from someone who's perhaps got some financial acumen or some business knowledge to guide you. Really be aware of the tax system as well.
Yeah.
The big difference between revenue generation and profitability.
Yeah, I think when you become a business owner and you incorporate a business, there are certain liabilities that you have as a business owner to file your taxes, to keep your accounting in check, and follow procedures. And it's not good enough to say I didn't know, because you, as a founder or as a CEO of a company, that's your role to know, and it's just pure excuse. So you've got to know the systems.
It's so important to know your systems, because, like you said, as a CEO of a business, that is, it is your fundamental responsibility. And talking of being a CEO, when we're trying to grow and scale a business, that is, as women, we need to embrace being a CEO of the business. So when you're a CEO of a business, when you're growing and scaling your business, you're not working in it so much, you're more working on the business. So the way you can do that is to have systems and procedures in place that allow you to have a more synoptic view of the business, to look at it more from a bird's eye view. Therefore, you can see what's going on, where your attention needs to go, and what you can implement and put something in place to fix or to change things up to grow the business. This, is really, really important.
Yeah.
Amazing. So a lot of women get stuck working in the business, and that mindset that, the harder you work, the hustle mentality, it's a way forward. It is initially, but it doesn't have to be that way.
Yeah. I mean, I love that, having the processes and looking at your metrics. Like you say, we overlook it very often, but knowing the figures, knowing your monthly revenue or reoccurring revenue, knowing these figures can, empower you to predict the future and see what are the things that you can do to make you grow as well.
Also, a lot of women are, what we don't realize, a lot of women do not realize, is that you don't have to start a business. To be a business owner, you don't have to grow your business from scratch. There are other ways of acquiring businesses and becoming a business owner to scale and grow rapidly. There are various ways of doing it. But
share a few ideas of how would that be possible?
I have grown my portfolio mostly through acquisition. So merging with other maybe businesses in the same industry as you. It doesn't even have to be in the same industry as you. You can sort of, the most important thing is to think out of the box. We get so engrossed in our business or our lifestyle business that we can't see the wood from the trees. So think outside of the box. Imagine if the box wasn't there at all. Think about acquisitions. Think about how you can take over, more of the market share. It's okay. We just got to give ourselves that permission. If you've not got that business knowledge yet, it's okay to seek it. It's really important. I didn't have this. It's something I've learned. I've learned it the hard way. So now when I do see when I am mentoring my ladies and gentlemen, you know, it's okay to hand them this and to advise them and guide them in the right direction, where they have explosive businesses where they're generating the figures and living the life that they want to live. But I've learned the hard way.
Did you have mentors along the way?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Sorry, bear with me, just a little drink.
Okay.
Yes. One of the things I really hammer about is the importance of having guidance. And as you know, as long as I can remember in my business, I've always had mentorship. And I think it's one of the fundamental reasons that have propelled me to where I am today. And I continue to have them. Sometimes, you know, depending on the nature of my business and where I'm headed in the next 6 months, I will have more than one.
Yeah.
But it's really important to make, you know, that investment in yourself, because that's you investing in your business.
Yeah. Ladies, drop a comment in the chat. Let us know how you're finding the session. If you have a mentor business, or you're really just starting out and starting to think about growing, possibly scaling your business. If you have a mentor, just let us know. I sort of recognized that from a very early stage in my business, because I was going into an area that was completely new to me. There's some areas was completely out of my depth. So I recognized that, like you say, not having just one mentor, I had 2 or 3 mentors focusing on different things. I can pick up a phone and talk to, and it wasn't mentors that I had to pay for. It was just a relationship that I had developed with someone that was happy to just guide me, because they have been through the experience as well. So I think mentors can come in different shapes and sizes, and the relationship you develop with that mentor. But one important thing is to check in with them, let them know they are your mentor, or you're taking their guidance, and check in with your progress, because that's important. If someone is going to spend the time mentoring you, they want to see the results. They want to see that the time they're spending is worthwhile and it's making an impact as well.
Absolutely, yes, I agree with you. Mentors do come in all shapes and sizes, and it's about finding the support network. You know, it's you not only do you need the strategic business advice, but there are times where it's tough emotionally as well. And to have that sounding board and support of somebody who's been there already, and they can guide you through it, it really does make all of the difference.
Yeah. A few things on business profitability. Have you got any tips in how to build a profitable business and things to focus on?
First and foremost, we keep the business lean. If you're just starting out, you don't need to invest a heck of a lot. I think what I see in the online space is, you know, the investing of into online courses and developing this really complex sales funnel to hit the first 6 figures in your business. And I can categorically vouch for, A, from personal experience, and B, from mentoring hundreds of ladies and gentlemen to 6 figures and beyond, that you do not need a complex sales funnel to hit 6 figures in your business. You do not need to have a fully automated online program or system that's automated whilst you're sitting on the beach, you know, working for 2 hours. You just don't need that. It doesn't happen. It seldom happens. I'm yet to meet someone who it's working for. And if you do see someone who it's working for, please send them in my direction. You know, seriously, to grow your business to the first 6 figures, keep it as lean as possible. If you're going to invest in anything, invest in your personal development, invest in a mentor or a coach or a program where you feel that you are in alignment with that person and that you feel that you can benefit from that relationship, that's where I would say you should be investing to grow a profitable business in the initial stages of your business. If you're just starting out trying to get to 6 figures.
Yeah.
You don't need a fancy website. You don't need to invest thousands into branding. You don't need to be doing fancy group online programs at all. I can vouch for that.
Yeah.
I mean, I did not. I just, I can categorically say that you could see one-to-one clients if your positioning is correct, if your product is viable, you've done your market research, you can create a transformation, you can create results with your product or service. It's about pricing. Yeah. And then honing in on your message and then marketing that message and really, really niching down. That's really important. Mm. And the riches are in the niches, as the Americans say. I prefer to say niche.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely.
So basically see where, grow it as much as you can until you can't grow it anymore, and then look into scaling or investing more into the systems, isn't it?
Absolutely. Until you do, if you want to grow your business to 6 figures quickly, you do not need a fancy sales page. You don't need, these are shiny object syndrome.
Yeah.
What a lot of women do is that we hide behind that because it prevents you from taking action. It prevents you from picking up the phone and making that call.
You're all guilty of that.
We're all guilty of that. We're all guilty, myself included. But I know when I'm doing it. I mean, I've been at it for a number of years now. So, you use pattern recognition. So tweaking the website, tweaking your sales page is not going to bring in the sales.
When you see
a lot, especially
if you want to invest in, this is going to change my life.
Exactly. If you want a healthy business, talk to people. Get on the phone and talk to people. There's a massive fear around cold calling. Cold calling is like the big no-no. Oh my God, I can't cold call anybody. Of course you can. Of course you can. Some of the biggest deals I've ever done were done through cold calling somebody. One of the best mentors I've ever had, I cold called.
I remember when I started my first business, I picked up the phone to manufacturers and I said, look, this is my idea. This is what I want to do. They were shocked, but I got the meeting, and I was only 21. I didn't know what I was talking about, but I was so passionate about what I wanted to do that the first thing for me was just to pick up the phone and get a meeting and see what they think about my crazy idea.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What are any tips on cold calling? Lindsay is asking.
Hi, Lindsay. Yes, I think do your research first.
Yeah.
Do your research around. It's a lot easier now than it was 10, 15 years ago. So, you can sort of do a bit of research on somebody's social media. So say you're trying to reach a journalist, for example, or you're trying to reach out to a potential manufacturer of a product or a service that you can utilize in your business, or a potential client. Do a little bit of research on them. And really, the fundamental thing is do your research before you call them. Yeah. And always lead with what's in it for them. Don't pitch your service, always have their interest at the forefront of the conversation.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter whether you're a 6, 7, 8, 9-figure business owner. When you pick up the phone making a cold call, you've still got to bear in mind that you're taking somebody's time.
Yeah.
And that is the most important commodity. So you've got to justify that. If you can justify it to yourself first, and you can sell your own product to yourself, then you feel confident. You will have that confidence picking up the phone and making that cold call. A lot of the problems lie in the fact that the reason why most people don't make the cold call is either they may have mindset issues around the cold call, or they've been brainwashed, I do say this wholeheartedly, by a lot of online gurus that you don't need to you don't need to call anybody, it's all hidden behind the screen, and you just have an online automated system. And that's the way to do the business, but it's not. It really is not. To grow and scale your business quickly, you need to get on the phone. You need to talk to people. And that's how your business will grow quickly. My number one tip, get on the phone.
Brilliant advice. I love it.
But always bear in mind that, time is a very important commodity, and always have the client's interest at the forefront of the conversation.
Yeah.
So, and understand that the product and services that you are offering are there to help. You are there to help. You're there to elevate their existence on the planet. So once you have convinced yourself on that, cold calling will not be a problem.
Amazing. We're all going to turn into fantastic salespeople after this.
Most welcome, Lindsay.
Yeah. Any other questions from the ladies listening? Let us know if you have any questions. I created a poll. It says, do you have a mentor? Yes or no, so you can vote if you have a mentor or if you haven't. Would like to see some of the stats. If you're watching replay, make sure you take the poll as well so you can come back and check it out. We covered so much. I absolutely love this. There's another question I have for you, and you posted something in the Women in Business group earlier today. And that was your article in the Inc. And I know you have been featured before, so would love to know more about the article and how you got featured, and just give us some nuggets from the articles that you've written.
Thank you. Yes, the recent article was featured with the International Women's Month theme. So I was approached by a journalist whilst I was in Switzerland doing a keynote talk at the United Nations, and it was predominantly the talk was on the senior female leadership within the international health policy arena. Mm-hmm. And the journalist was quite intrigued by my passion around the subject, and was really wanted to interview me on various topics, and felt that it was right to publish that article for International Women's Day, which I felt I'm very humbled and truly honoured to be featured like that. So the article yesterday, I don't know if you've had a look on the women's group, but do sign on and have a look. I was interviewed about looking at what we need to create, what factors we need in the workplace, the modern workplace, to create a thriving environment for women. Yeah. So working with women, I'm currently doing a master's research on this. So interviewing lots and lots of ladies from various industries across the board, there were certain factors that are still prevalent today that are not there for them to create that thriving environment. Although we have a lot of legislation in place, for example, the working time derivatives and other legal acts that have been passed with reference to women returning to work after having children, the flexibility of the working arrangement, and the recruitment process where talent hire is concerned, we're still light years, like you said earlier, we're light years behind, because the research that I've been conducting at the moment show very clearly that it's simply not happening across the board, and even at senior partner executive level. We're still discriminated for having children. We're still discriminated coming back after maternity. Yeah,
it's really sad, isn't it, to hear that, and to hear the facts and the support just isn't there yet. Not enough support anyway.
Not enough support, not for many women.
Yeah. What can we do? So those few things that you shared on things that are needed to make a change on.
I think definitely the government needs to look at involving women in the more flexible working hours. Although there are legislations there in place at the moment, there needs to be protocols in place where it's more easily implemented. Although women are offered that option, some women are offered that option of working remotely, working more flexibly. It's only for a very short period of time after having children, for example. But women don't want to or can't afford to, therefore, on their salaries, go back to work full time and have the childcare. But they're more than able and capable to fulfill that role that they currently have in their profession more remotely. So it's harnessing that, cultivating that, and really, really allowing them to do that from grassroots level.
Making it acceptable and commonplace to be able to work remotely. I think that should be quite common now.
Absolutely. And, I mean, I will be putting this in the book, or the data, but a lot of women they do experience derogative comments from their male counterparts when they return back to work. A lot of them are said in jest, but they are still quite insulting. Just because somebody's had a baby and returned to work doesn't mean she's mentally unfit or uncapable.
It could be quite hurtful, and that hurt could stay with you because you might not feel as confident as it is coming back to work after you had a baby.
Absolutely. And that's one of the main reasons why women then don't return back to work. It has a massive knock-on effect on their confidence. So, there are mentorship programs in place in larger institutions to guide and to coach women back into work, but it's still not as prevalent as it can and should be. Yeah, so that's what we're working on with senior leadership in the political space to change that, not just in the UK, but internationally.
Amazing. I really admire your work and, the impact that you're making and trying to change the policy and driving other women to take action. I think it's phenomenal work, and it's amazing to have you contribute today as well.
Thank you very much. It's been my pleasure, absolute pleasure.
Talk about the subjects that really matter and we should be talking about. This event wasn't necessarily about equality or the sort of gender issues, but I think it's important to still talk about our role in business, our role in leadership, and what do we need to do to make it more equal and prominent, and so we have the same opportunities as men do. So I think it's very important to have this discussion.
Yeah.
Okay, ladies, do you have any more questions? We are going to wrap up in probably 5 minutes or so. Have a little break for 10 minutes between sessions. So you can grab yourselves a drink today. All the sessions that have been running back to back. But we just have so many incredible speakers, and it's been really amazing summit so far.
I'm delighted that the tech has really been working quite well this time, hasn't it?
It's behaving.
It's behaving, thank God for that. I was really quite concerned about it, but it's playing ball.
Yeah. I know you had another article recently as well in the Ink, more about scaling and growing a business. Any few golden nuggets from that article that you could share?
Scaling your business, number one tip, keep it simple. Keep it super, super simple. Complexity kills growth. Complexity kills scaling the business. A lot of, a complexity in a business when you're scaling it will have a massive impact on your team. Another golden nugget, hire people better than yourself. Don't hire anyone like yourself. Hire better than yourself. Number one tip. Actually, that would be the number one tip. Hire the best you can afford.
Amazing.
We've got a question there.
Catherine says, what do you think of the idea of some coaches selling the whole idea that you can have a 7-figure business on 3-day work week?
Thank you, Kate. What a wonderful question. Well, I'm completely speechless. What do I think without causing gross offence to anyone? I think I'm yet to encounter someone who's hit 7 figures in their business and beyond on a 3-day work week. So I don't know about you, Kate, but I tried to work from my laptop on the beach in Thailand, but I couldn't see the screen. So I don't know. I really don't think that it's very rare. It does happen. It does happen. However, I'd love to meet the person, who's done it in person. I've yet to meet that individual. So I'm sure it happens, but I'd be very mindful of, embracing that ideology with certain gurus who promote that 3-day-a-week delusional ideology, and it's misleading many entrepreneurs because it's not a reality. I think we all know it here. All of us can vouch for that. It's not viable. It's not practical. It doesn't happen very often. I hope that helps.
Do you think it's possible to follow someone else's blueprint and actually reach that 7-figure business or 6-figure business? Is there such thing from your experience as having a blueprint of success?
I think there are tangible strategies that you can definitely implement to catapult yourself to 6 figures very quickly. However, if you're following somebody else's strategies and blueprint, I do think it needs to have a higher touch point. For example, if you're downloading a course online and it's giving you some form of a blueprint to 7 figures, then I think with a little touch point with the folks or the person who's created that, I think there's very little scope of one achieving that goal. I would be very mindful as well before purchasing a program or a blueprint of such sort. I would definitely do some due diligence and see if that person has actually achieved that themselves in the marketplace, because what I see a lot of from doing a bit of research myself and from a lot of my clients have mentioned to me that a lot of coaches or marketers are promoting certain courses and certain ideology that they haven't actually achieved that themselves. I, from my personal perspective, would only have a mentor or purchase a course online from somebody who I know is walking the talk.
Yeah.
So that is really important to be mindful of that. There are a lot of people promoting 6 figures, but they never achieve that themselves in their business. So it just,
I think it's
learning to drive. Yeah. It's like having a driving lesson with somebody who's never driven a car. You just wouldn't want to do that, right? So I know I wouldn't. So it's exactly the same thing. I hope that helps your question, Kate.
Yeah, again, caught up by the shiny objects, isn't it?
Shiny object syndrome. It takes time. If you want to build a 6 to 7 figure business, give yourself time and allow yourself enough grace to do that. It's not an easy journey, but it's not impossible. It takes time. It takes time to build a sustainable business that's wide, it's deep, it's got legs that you can exit out of should you want to. And then you can retire and go and sit on the beach.
Last question. Do you feel like you achieved your work and life balance now? Do you feel like you can enjoy your life and not just purely focus on business?
I firmly believe that there's no such thing as a work-life balance, first and foremostly. However, as I have traveled along my business journey, what I have found is that I am at a point now where I am more flexible. I can choose to be in the office. I choose my day, how I plan my day, more around what is of greater importance to me. As a mum to two children, it's really important that I'm there for them as well. Yeah. So as time has gone on, I have become more flexible in that. But initially, you know, there are times where you've got a lot on in the business takes priority. And then there are other times where you can spend a little bit more time doing the other activities. But it's about prioritizing, having good, solid relationships around you where you can rely on other people as well. Maybe a partner, some family, some friends, a mentor. It's really important to have a support network around you when you're growing a business.
Absolutely. So important.
Yeah.
Amazing. Do you have a website or anywhere that we could possibly reach out to you, or if there's a freebie that you would like to offer to the listeners?
Absolutely. So my website is, you can find me anywhere. It's samludhra.com, Sam Ludhra on Instagram, Sam Ludhra on Dr. Sam Ludhra on LinkedIn. I can probably put it in. They've done that. Thank you very much. So yes, you can log on there, and please feel free to sign up to leave your email address. And what I am offering all the lovely ladies who watch this is a complimentary consultation. So that is quite rare. We don't often do that, but a complimentary 25-minute consultation, a strategy session on your business.
Wow, that is super generous of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I'm really looking forward to connecting with the ladies as well. So
yeah,
love some feedback, you know, from this chat and this session we've had. Pop your comments in the comment box, and I'd love to, if you've got any further questions, I'll happily answer those as well. Just put them in.
Everyone's so engaged with what we're talking about. We forgot all about the chat box.
Yeah, sorry, ladies, forgot about the chat box. But no, we'll definitely. I'll endeavour to answer everybody's questions, and if you've got any other more pressing questions, more business-related, specific ones, do drop me an email via the link on the website, and it'll be more than my pleasure to help if I can.
Ladies, go back and check out Sam's article. It is in the Women in Business group, so you can do that, and definitely check out your websites. I know you're just redeveloping your website to have a new shiny website. So we look forward to seeing an updated version, but in the meantime you can sign up and book a complimentary call with Sam. So thank you very much for today. I really appreciate your time.
It's my absolute pleasure. Thank you so much, and it's my honor to be here and serve your tribe. Thank you, ladies, for being here too.
Thank you, and enjoy the rest of your day and your weekend, and we will be back in 5 minutes.
Lovely. I look forward to following the rest of the talks.
Yeah, we still have quite a few to go. I'm going.
Yes, it's been absolutely wonderful. I'm really enjoying the sessions. They've been very informative.
Yes, everyone has an amazing story to share, so it's been really.
Yes.
So next up will be Dillis with Kate, so at 1:30, just in a few minutes. So stick around, ladies, and
I will. Fantastic. Thank you so much.
No worries. Thanks so much. See you soon.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.